next case on our agenda. Please note that when the board is deliberating, members of the public are not permitted to comment. Any member of the public may request a copy of the board's decisions on a particular case by contacting our office at 318-673-6480 after 1 p.m. tomorrow, or by accessing our website at shreveportcaddompc.com. All ZBA board decisions on cases within the city limits of Shreveport are subject to appeal to district court. All ZBA decisions on parish cases are subject to appeal to the parish commission. Please note that it is your responsibility to contact either district court or the parish administrator's office about their procedures as related to the matter you are concerned with. Copies of this document and the phone numbers to contact the governing bodies are available on the table next to the podium and in the entryway to this room. As a courtesy, please remember to turn off all cell phones while the ZBA is in session. The Zoning Board of Appeals values your testimony and appreciates your compliance with these guidelines. What do we hear regarding the minutes of September 20th, 2017?
Move to approve. Second.
Motion by Mr. Bergeron, second by Mr. Hendricks. Please vote. Oh, are we ready to vote?
Yeah, I thought we already voted.
Mine didn't come up. Did you go to? Here, there we go. Motion carries unanimously. All right, that brings us to case BAP 4417, 5700 block of North Market Street.
Jeff Perigo, Prevo Design Services, 601 Spring Street, 71101. I'm just here to request a variance for the screening fence. We don't feel like one is actually required, given, excuse me, given the development along North Market at that location, and the owner has no objections to the stipulations that were recommended by the MPC staff. So.
All right, thank you. Any questions from the board? Thank you, sir. Anyone else wish to speak for case BAP 44-14?
Jerry Baxter, 122 Chimney Lane, Houghton, Louisiana. I own the property adjacent to the southeast. I have a question in reference to, is the company aware that there's a 20-foot right-of-way on their side of the red line as so indicated between my property and their shaded area? And if so, will that have an effect on where where they put their fence? Second part of my question, either way, my side or their side of the right-of-way, what type of fence, how tall?
Well, they're asking for a variance to avoid erecting the fence.
Okay.
Until such time as perhaps other development would require it.
Okay.
Regarding your first question, I'll refer you to Mr. Sweeney.
It would have to be at a minimum 6 feet in height.
Okay.
And a solid wood fence at least.
Okay.
Stockade fence. Anything related to passages of servitude or other type of services that may be along the property line there would have to be taken into consideration. And so if the way we've worded this is that if in the future those other properties do develop as residential, then they would have to come in with a revised site plan and put the fence up.
Okay.
And at that time, we'd have to take that into consideration where the best location of the fence should be.
Okay.
Because in some of those servitudes, you don't want to cross over into them because maybe they'll get torn down because of utility services or whatever.
This
And
is-
so that would have to be taken into consideration if and when the fencing is ever erected.
Yeah.
So all they're asking for right now is not to have to put it up right now.
Okay. This is a sewage line that starts
Okay.
up on Old Mooringsport Road, up around Northwood, comes down, crosses, runs right adjacent to my property, and then crosses and runs up along Old Mooringsport Road into a open air
Right.
septic system. Let me ask one more part to that, if I may direct it right here. If and when they do erect a fence, and if and when I put anything on my property up in that area along where the red line is, and if they have a fence, do I also need to put a fence up, or is there fence?
They are the only ones required to put the fence up. You do not have to.
Okay, okay.
The requirement is on the commercial property, not on the residential property.
Okay. If such time in the future that I request change of my property from residential to commercial, would I then need to put a fence up?
No, if you went to commercial, no fencing would be required then. The fencing requirement goes away
And
Okay.
what on the other side?
on the other side. That is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, gentlemen. I
All right.
appreciate your time.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else wish to speak against BAP 44-14, 44-17? Mr. Perigo, do you have anything to add as a rebuttal?
No, sir.
Thank you. All right, what do we hear?
Move to approve with steps.
Second. Motion by Mr. Bergeron, second by Mr. Hendricks to approve with the stipulation that a 6-foot solid wood screen fence will be provided if the applicant should any of the adjacent residentially zoned properties develop for residential purposes in the future. Please vote. Motion carries unanimously. Case BAP 45-17, 821 Barron Road.
Don G. Carson. I reside at 815 Barron Road, 71047 Keithville. I'm here representing my 80-year-old dad and 77-year-old mom, who in June the 16th of this year had a fire at their house that they've been living in for over 44 years. They've been on this property since 1966, but they've been living in the structure that caught on fire this year since 1977. And the damage to the house was way more than worth repairing. Plus the house was 3,500 square feet, and we tore the house down. We're requesting to put a 1,950 square foot new double wide on a slab, and we have plenty of parking area. It's all family that lives around in this area. It's a 10-acre plot. They own 7 acres. I own an acre, and my sister owns an acre. And there's mobile homes all around us, and they've been living with me since June the 17th, and I'm ready to get them in their own place.
Time to go. All right, thank you. Any questions for Mr. Carson from the board? Thank you, sir. Anyone else wish to speak for case BAP 45-17? Anyone wish to speak against BAP 45-17? What do we hear?
Move to approve.
Second. Motion by Mr. Bergeron, second by Ms. Pearson. Please vote. Motion carries unanimously. Case BAP 46-17, 5655 Brandon Road.
is Angel Rodriguez, and my husband's name is Gardena Rodriguez, and we bought the land to put our trailer on it to live there,
Okay.
and we just needed permission to put the trailer out there.
All right. Are you aware of the stipulation that you need to provide a plat to be filed with the MPC?
Yes, sir. We talked to
Okay.
them.
All right, just making sure you understand that. Any questions for Ms. Rodriguez? All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak for case BAP 4617? Anyone wish to speak against BAP 4617?
How are you? I'm David Johnson. I live at 5650 Brandon Road. I don't know that I'm against or whatever. I just want to ask a question.
Sure.
Like I say, I live at the 56 Brandon Road. It is,
You can show us on the map.
yeah, I guess that is Brandon Road, the circle drive there.
Well,
And
yeah, right.
the circle. And as you,
If you can show us on the, just, you can point on the map. there,
okay,
it's easier.
or is this is Brandon? Okay, as you come here and go right down this fence line here, her spot is here, correct? All right,
Yes.
this is where she lives. I live on this tract of land right here.
Okay.
And, no, I'm sorry, I live on this tract of land here where you see
Right.
this is my work shed and this is my house.
Okay.
All right, well, I go across these people's property here, and we go down, and my driveway goes this way. My question was, if she's gonna, she really doesn't have any access to her property, and my question was, are they gonna maintain my driveway from there to here? Because I have to maintain the other property that I go across here too, at this place right here. So I maintain all of this, and there's no driveway down in here. It's just basically, it's dirt. So, and
So she's landlocked.
she's landlocked. That's correct. And I'm not sure if I'm opposed to it, but I just want to make sure that they own the property and they're not going to make a rent house down there or have a business. Before we were there was a business there.
Okay. What's the
Years ago, what I understand.
directly north of her? Is that a mobile home there? At the end?
Directly north?
Right.
Yes, there's a mobile home, but it's vacant there. It's sitting in the back of Mr. Hall's backyard.
And he's to the north of that?
And he is to the north of that, right at
Okay.
the circle.
All right.
All this is his property right here.
Okay. That's
So.
an interesting question. I don't know.
Well, there's an undocumented servitude of passage there that's been there for a while, and so that's gonna have to be addressed as part of the platting requirement. You'll notice that that's a stipulation that this property has to be platted.
Right.
So in order for them to get square one on this, they have to go through the platting process, because they don't get a permit to put their mobile home out there until that gets rectified. So through the platting process, that servitude of passage will have to be nailed down. Otherwise, they won't get to put their mobile home out there.
Right. And so who?
And we will review this.
They will submit that to plat to you?
Yes,
Okay.
and that's one of the stipulations
So
on this.
to his question, the maintenance of that is whose responsibility?
Yeah, but whoever owns that servitude of passage and what kind of an agreement they have with whatever the property owner is concerned, that agreement would be who would maintain it. And more than likely, we're talking about just a gravel road, so it's not gonna be a paved road, because this is out in the parish.
Right.
So
correct.
Any type of maintenance would be between the property owners.
So the ownership will be discovered when they do the
That
plat
is
survey?
correct. That is correct.
Okay.
And if, again, I kind of come back to that, if that doesn't get resolved, then there won't be anything done with this property
Okay.
going forward.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, I just know that whenever we moved in there 20-something years ago, that was one of the questions when we financed it at the bank, that we would have to sign something that we agreed to take care of the Holloways section of the driveway, and I have done that, just bringing in dump trucks and putting it there. I just don't want to, like I say, I'm not against it. People need a place to live, and there's got to be a place to get there to
Sure.
it. So, if they, as long as they're not operating a rent house and
Right.
people coming in there and then try to put more trailers down in there, because they've got to, like you say, they've got to dig and have services coming down there. There's no services down there.
Right.
So,
Well, that'll be addressed.
right,
when she
so,
submits
but we
the
had to agree to keep up the road coming in there, and I've done that for 20-plus years or whatever, how long we've been there, but, you know, that's my main question.
Okay,
So that's it.
thank you, sir.
All right.
Anyone else wish to speak for case against case BAP 46-17?
My name is Gary W. Weeks. I live at 5594 Brandon Road. And I'm just like Mr. Johnson. I'm not completely opposed to it. My property starts right there where David's property stops at.
Right.
I have 10 acres right here.
Okay.
There's no access to that property. 2 weeks ago, this lady that's here come to my house and asked permission to get to their property. Said they was gonna put a trailer down. After which I go down there and lo and behold, they've already cleaned the property off, hauled dirt in, they've even got a travel trailer. That part I don't appreciate because she had not come to me before 2 weeks ago, even asked permission to go through my property to get to theirs. I got a little bit of problem with that.
Okay.
Because there's no access, as they've already been stated, to that property. That's not a designated road going through there. I told her that I would consider giving her access if they built a nice gravel road going to her property.
Okay.
But if they're gonna sneak in the back door, that's what I consider when you start doing work on your property, going through somebody else's property and you haven't even got permission, I got a serious problem with that.
I understand. Thank you, Mr. Weeks. Anyone else need to speak against BAP 46-17?
I'm W.C. Hall, 5617 Brandon Road, 71107. I'm at the end of the road on the circle. Let's see where. I got these 2 lots, and I got this lot down to his lot. Now, where his line is there, I've got 30 feet of roadway to the Roy Road. When Mr. Bozeman sold that land to Mr. Rodriguez, he sold his 30 feet of right-of-way. So they have no right-of-way into the property. It's landlocked. Tommy Bozeman landlocked 40 acres of land that this man here, his wife's inherited part of it. So what happens, we've got a lot of traffic at the end of the road, kids and stuff. There's a trailer house over there. And they come in and out at 40 miles an hour, and they run their cars up there and throw the doors wide open and turn the jam boxes on. Well, the last time I called one of them over to my fence, and I told him, I said, the next time that happens, the sheriff's going to follow y'all in nowhere. So I hadn't had any problem with that lately. But that's about all I've got to say, because I have a water problem. I've been down here on the trailer park for 3 times. I believe it's been 3 times. And now I got sewer water from them over last weekend. So anyhow, that's not cured yet. So they said whenever it was cured, they'd give him, I think, permission to build his houses. So I'm back on that. I'll be back on that before. If he goes to build his house, I'm going to get an injunction against him where he got to stop and clean out the ditches and fix his sewer, because the lift station overflowed over the weekend.
Are we talking about Mr. Rodriguez's property?
Huh?
Are we talking about this?
Well, it runs into it. It'll run down into it.
Okay.
The Rodriguez property will. See, because I get all the water from the trailer park, come right on down through my drive, through my lot and all that.
Where's the trailer park?
Trailer park's up above us here, up here.
Oh,
R8, let's see. R8, yeah. Okay, it's Pine Hill trailer.
okay.
But see, we get all that water down there. Gary gets it, I get it, Ms. Hall gets it. All that water comes down through our property. And it goes down to Rodriguez's property.
All right.
And that's about all I got to say. I'm not really against them living down there or putting a trailer house in down there. What I'm against is kids running up and down the road on four-wheelers doing wheel stands, and I had to let them know that I'd call the sheriff department and them pound them, so they quit that.
All right.
I thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
All right, anyone else wish to speak against BAP 46-17? Ms. Rodriguez, do you care to address anything?
No.
You have a rebuttal? Okay. You understand the issue with the road?
No, so that would be a problem.
All right, so when the plat comes through, you'll have, that'll be addressed.
I have a question about the road. This might be more from Mr. Sweeney. That has to be gravel. They have to extend that road and
That is
be gravel,
correct.
correct?
It'll have to be gravel, and the arrangements will have to be, worked out between them and the property owners as part of that plat. That's why I keep making reference to the fact that without the plat being approved and the servitude being verified, nothing's gonna happen.
Right, but
So
that's already a
an important
stipulation.
benchmark
Right.
that basically says they have to talk to the adjacent property owners, they have to come to an agreement, and that has to be shown on the plat.
All right.
Otherwise, nothing happens.
Any other questions from the board?
Sir, if I understand you correctly, after this decision is made about the plat, then the landowners in question, such as myself, will be notified of the outcome?
No, they'll have to kind of reach out to you as part of the platting process, because I think this will be an administrative plat, am I correct?
The surveyor she would have to get her surveyor to come talk to you.
Talk to you. They'll have to before they can ever get the plat approved by us.
Oh, okay, that's what I'm getting. So we would be notified of
You'll
whatever
be-
the outcome
you'll be
is
part of the
before the bottom line.
conversation,
Well,
yeah.
I will be part of the picture, in
Right.
other words. Okay,
Yes.
thank
Mr.
you,
Weeks,
sir.
just for our recording, could you repeat your name and address for us?
My name is Gary W. Weeks. I live at 5594 Brandon Road.
Thank you very much. All right, no further questions? Please vote. I'm sorry, we need a motion. I'm out of order. Chairman is out of order. What do we hear for BAP 46-17?
Move to approve with stipulations.
Motion made by Mr. Hendricks to approve with steps.
Second.
Second by Mr. Farrell. And just for the record, the stipulation being that applications will be approved as submitted with the stipulation that a plat is filed with the NPC office for approval by the executive director and reported at the County Parish Courthouse, establishing a legal lot of record prior to the issuance of any permits. And part of that process will include working out the gravel driveway and the servitude of passage. Please vote. There we go. Motion carries unanimously. Case BAP 47-17.
Timothy Daniels, 7453 Shirley Francis, and I'm requesting to live in a mobile home while I build my house on my property, and the mobile home that I live in to continue to use the parking area that I'm using now and not build an extra hard surface. I'll be moving the mobile home as soon as my house gets built. I'm renting it now. It's on my property and I'm renting it.
Okay. So that answers the question about the stipulation, which is that the mobile home be removed within 30 days from the date of your final inspection of the new house.
Yeah, and I'm renting it, so I'm eager to get it off my
Exactly.
property.
All right, any questions for Mr. Daniels?
I do. It said if I read it correctly, that it's been out there for 2 years, this mobile home?
I've been renting the mobile home for 3 years.
Okay.
And I was going to build my house. My dad died, and so it was his property, and so it just kind of we didn't build, and now I think I'm ready.
So, this is more of a question. So, why are we going this route for a secondary
Remember, under the old code, which this is in the old code for the parish, we didn't have a way for someone to do a secondary residential without requesting an approval through you guys as the ZBA. So since he's got to have this mobile home while he's building his house, which makes common sense, it was always set up so that you had to have the secondary residence approval. Once the UDC goes into effect in the parish, that component will be changes dramatically. It's a different pathway. It doesn't require this kind of do loop thing that we have to do. But because it's under the old code, he's having to do this in front of you guys. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir. Anyone else wish to speak for BAP 47-17? Anyone wish to speak against BAP 47-17? What do we hear?
Move to approve.
With 6. Motion by Mr. Bergeron, second by Mr. Hendricks, to approve with the stipulation mobile home be moved within 30 days from the date of final inspection on the new residence. Please vote. Motion carries unanimously. Tab 8 is case BAP 48-17, 4855 Dixie Shreveport Road.
My name is Billy Alcorn, and I'm petitioning this for myself.
Sir, just for the record, could we get your full address?
4855 Dixie Shreveport Road, 71107.
Thank you, sir. And this is a new mobile home?
Yes, sir.
All right, any questions for Mr. Alcorn? Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Anyone else wish to speak for BAP 48-17? Anyone wish to speak against the BAP 48-17? What do we hear?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Bergeron, second by Dr. Stewart. Please vote. Motion carries unanimously. Case BAC 86-17, 444 East Industrial Loop.
Hi, my name is Tom Funkgerberta. I'm with Moore & Associates. I'm representing the applicant CC&D. Our address is 1324 North Hearn in Shreveport. Today we are petitioning for an allowance for a 0 lot line for our development. And I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
I got a question for Mark. Is this the one we talked about a few months ago, that they wanted a 0 lot line to develop their property, or is this different?
I think this is a different one.
Okay.
Yeah. This is a common thing where someone wants to lease or sell property. And this is, you'll see this repeat itself over and over again in a lot of your commercial trips. And that's one reason why the staff did not have a problem with going this route, because the requirements under the old code, since this is inside the city limits, was that you didn't have to have the setback. Under the new code, you do, and so therefore it requires a variance. And so we felt like this is an easy accommodation for what is typically a requested thing to do in a lot of your commercial areas, and even with townhome developments, you'll see this as well.
All right, any further questions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak for case BAC 86-17? Anyone wish to speak against BAC 86-17?
And I will mention this will require a replat and a revised site plan to be submitted, so that's part of the stipulation that you'll see.
All right. What do we hear?
Move to approve with STIPs.
Motion by Mr. Hendricks, second by Ms. Pearson to approve with STIPs. An additional STIP, actually, that's already a stipulation.
Right.
Yes, with the stipulation that a revised site plan be submitted and approved by the executive director. Please vote. Motion carries unanimously. Tab 10 is case BAC 88-17.
Afternoon. My name is Jeff Spikes. I'm at 417 Lake Street, Shreveport, Louisiana, 71101. I'm here representing the city and Susla partnership for the Milam Street Kitchen Incubator, which is basically a culinary hub. And we're obviously applying for a variance on the setback of 10 feet on the Milam Street facade. I'll take any questions.
And stipulation for this also is a site plan being submitted.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right. Any questions, Mr. Spikes? Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Anyone else wish to speak for case BAC 88-17? Anyone wish to speak against BAC 88-17? What do we hear?
Move to approve. Second. With STIPs. Second.
All right, motion by Dr. Stewart, second by Mr. Hendricks to approve with STIPs. Please vote. Motion carries unanimously. Brings us to the end of our public hearing. Mr. Sweeney, do you have a master plan report?
Sure. This is just a reminder to everyone. I suspect Stephen probably mentioned this to you at your last meeting, but I'll go ahead and reiterate it. The parish did approve the Unified Development Code, their version, which is 99.5% the same as the city's. But their Unified Development Code goes into effect December the 1st. If you go and look at our website, you're going to see there's still the announcement for the city's UDC, which went into effect May the 15th. And the parishes goes into effect December the 1st. What that means is that you'll get a combination of old code and new code stuff probably in December and January. But that by the time we get to your February ZBA, you should have a pure UDC agenda across the board. Which is the best way for me to explain that to you. As of February, you should see no more mobile home applications. They will all be gone. And so that will fall off your agenda. Make sure your agenda's a little smaller, but there'll be some new areas where you'll be asked for variances, like the one you just approved about the 0 lot line situation, the one you just approved for the fence variation. You're gonna see more things like that, as well as other types of variances. So there'll be some things that'll come into the mix that you haven't seen before, or are not as common, and other ones that will fall off. Likewise, hours of operation goes away, as well as alcohol approvals. All of that comes off your plate by February on the parish side. It's already gone off the plate on the city side. So this is great progress, and I'm very pleased that in 2017 that we have been in a team effort, very successful in getting both the city and the parish to adopt the biggest change in regulations in 60 years. And so for the first time, we're going to be able to truly compete with other areas, other cities, and hopefully make a really difference in the way the city not only functions, but the way it looks and the way it attracts new businesses in the future. But having said that, the UDC is a very dynamic, living document. We already have 26 amendments that we got approved by the City Council. You will be seeing those attached to as amendments to the UDC. They were what I call common sense oversights and corrections. And we'll be doing the same thing with the parish. We'll go to them and make those same amendments with the parish document as well. And so there'll probably be more amendments coming forward, because every time you test something that's new, you find all the holes and the mistakes, or you find something that you didn't intend to be that way, or a missing definition, or a missing phrase, and that changes the whole outcome of what you're trying to do. So we're trying to very diligently tweak everything as we're going along, and I'll keep you guys aware of those things they will ultimately affect what you do, because if the rules do change on some areas, then that'll reflect on you when you hear variance requests. So, important thing to be aware of. Having said that, that's pretty much my report, and as we come toward the end of 2017, it's hard to believe this year has gone by this fast. I mean, we don't have that much longer to go, and we'll be plunging into 2018. So our number of items on your agenda may get much slimmer. There might be occasions when we don't have an application filed, and I will let you know that, and we won't have a meeting. But as it stands right now, I have to be sensitive to the time element of applicants, because it's going to be hard for us to say, okay, no, you have to wait 2 or 3 months before you can have a hearing. Well, that's not fair. So I have to be very careful that you might come in here and we may just have 2 items on the agenda, but that's because that applicant has a business deadline they have to meet, and they can't wait 2 months. So we're going to try to be as fair and consistent on how we apply that policy of being able to respond quickly to an applicant's needs, a developer's needs going forward. So, but on those months where we don't have applications, you'll be notified well in advance, so that you don't have to meet, and then we'll convene when we do have items for an agenda. So all the changes are coming to fruition that we talked about for the last 3 years, and it's now happening. So I consider that tremendous progress for all of us in this situation. So anyway, that's really all I have to report today.
Would you repeat the date you mentioned earlier at the luncheon about the holiday party?
Yeah, you'll be getting a notice in the mail of the MPC holiday luncheon that we do every year. It's going to be, right now I think it's scheduled for December the 8th, which is a Friday, and it will be at 11:30, and we'll be at Wine Country on Line M, and we've already made reservations, and you'll be getting an invitation through from Mary Beth, and from so she'll be sending something out to remind you about that. So we would love for you to be there. It's the only opportunity we have for both boards and all the staff members that wish to participate to be able to come together in a setting, in an informal setting, and enjoy each other's company, and to have a meal together. So we plan this every year. Last 2 years it was at Country Tavern, a barbecue place, and this year I decided to vary it up a little bit and go to some place that we haven't gone to. And we do all of this with trying to keep very reasonable pricing, because we budget for this so that it's doesn't get too excessive, but enough that we can have a nice setting for this luncheon event. I also, at that luncheon event, I have started a tradition last year of where we honor and recognize those employees who have done an exceptional job in their service to the community, and in terms of how they function professionally in the office and how they relate with applicants. And last year was the first time I did that, and I intend to do that again at this luncheon as well. So, and if anybody's leaving off a board or something's happening, it's also a time where we usually will recognize them and give them a plaque or something to say we appreciate their service. I don't have anybody leaving that I'm aware of at this point in time, but that's also an opportunity to do that as well. But you'll be getting something soon on that in the next few weeks about that holiday luncheon.
Any questions from the board's comments? Thank you very much. We're adjourned.